open this up to trustee Thomas.
Make a motion to adopt.
I'm sorry, Amos.
Either one will work.
Okay.
Make a motion to adopt an acting chair for meeting.
Second.
Mr. Chapman, is there a motion? Did he say Mr. Chapman as the chair? Is that what he said?
No, just an acting chairman like you wrote it.
Oh, yeah, well, we have to name somebody.
Make a motion to adopt an acting chair for meeting, Mr. Rick Chapman.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wow. Sorry about that, if anybody was close to the TV. Well, not yet. Not yet. Okay. I'd like to open up the March 25th, 2025 meeting. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold, trustees Amos,
Here?
Brockman.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
Here.
Okay. I'd like to announce the mayor's off on some important business, trying to gather some dollars to help us get Lake Michigan water. He's in Washington tonight, and let's keep our fingers crossed that the job is getting done. So we all wish him well. Are there any citizens that wish to address the village board tonight? State your name for the record, please.
Felipe Francini, Edgewater Association. Yeah, I was here the last couple of days, and you guys probably gonna be seeing my disgusting self here more often. I want to bring my wheelchair so some of your employees that feed off our taxes understand what a wheelchair is and what the purpose of it is. Also, if any of you like to look at my damaged wheels that damaged on one of your sidewalks in Edgewater. When you guys create these associations, you guys painted, your zoning committee paints and puts out all these beautiful looking pictures with beautiful ponds. And the last time I was here, I'm glad somebody beat me to it, and somebody mentioned about those ponds. If you guys were to drive around and look around those ponds, they're disgusting, okay? They claim they're prairies. They're not prairies. Also, when you guys when the homeowners associations become established, they appoint their own boards that don't follow the law. They self-appoint. In my case, in Edgewater, the board self-appointed for over 10 years, cutting deals behind closed doors. They don't put out our landscaping projects for bid like you guys do, which I think should be looked at. When you guys create these associations, you need to keep the taxpayers' dollars at mind. When homeowners come and buy into these homeowners associations, they're not given the booklets that tells them the rules, what need to be followed. Once you establish these boards, they selectively enforced, and then they proceed to use our taxpayer-paid employees to come and harass residents, sometimes under false allegations. Okay? And I made some nasty comment about a couple of them. Okay, you had 3 of them that targeted me, and that's disgusting. Okay, I think that needs to bring shame. I worked here 50 years ago. I experienced some nasty racism. I figure 50 years later, you guys will be moving past that. I've experienced a lot of that within the last 5 years, and I think this village should be better than that. especially by those that are being paid by our tax dollars. I don't think anybody deserves to be mistreated when you guys are paying them by our tax dollars. I think we need to revisit. I'm assuming one of the individuals that targeted me the most came from Plainfield. Plainfield had a reputation that was worse than Shorewood in the 70s and 80s. I think they've done a lot better. I have a lot of friends that live there. But Shorewood shouldn't not be going backwards.
Excuse me, your clock is ticking.
That's fine. Am I
So-
already on my limit? I'm sorry.
So if you have a major point to make, would you please
Yes.
make it?
Yes, that I think you guys need to value your residents. I think you all guys have very good positions. I like what the village has become to. I chose to live here and I plan on dying here. And I hope that somehow you guys have a talk with your department heads. I think they need to be educated a little bit on to what the laws are. You know, we should be moving forward, not backwards. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Being that there are no others, I'm going to move on to the consent agenda.
Mayor, could I just add one thing to the consent agenda, or make one clarification on number 3? The approval of the executive session minutes are for release, and you were provided with a copy. The minutes that are not highlighted will be the ones that are released.
Okay, so everybody understand that?
Thank you.
Okay, so I can put in as corrected.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the consent agenda tonight consists of approval of the regular meeting minutes from March the 11th, 2025. Approval of committee of the whole meeting minutes from March the 11th, 2025. Approval of the executive session minutes from January 20th to 24th through February 2025 as corrected by our attorney. Number 4, approval of the destruction of audio records or recordings for release. Executive session minutes from 2022 through September 2023. Number 5, approval of accounts payable in the amount of $743,039.96. Number 6, approval of the payment in the amount of $65,265 to Adler Roofing and Sheet Metal for the police department roof project. Number 7, approval of a contract in the amount of $10,490 with Joliet Tent for Oktoberfest to include a deposit payment in the amount of $3,496. And finally, approval of a payment in the amount of $29,018.62 to Morton Salt for bulk road safety salt. Are there any questions, additions, addendums to the committee meeting?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to move on to reports and communications. Any reports or communications?
No, sir.
Okay, man. And I have no proclamations, so we'll move on to the order of business. Business item number 1, consideration for approval of a bid award to Austin Tyler Construction for the village's 2025 MFT resurfacing project in the amount of $1,594,479.66 and authorize the execution of the contract consistent with the bid documents. Director Noriega.
Thank you very much. So our annual resurfacing project was bid on Friday, March 14th. We received 5 bids. This year, Austin Tyler Construction with a low bid of an amount of almost $1.6 million, which is approximately 22% below the engineer's estimate, was the low bidder. Our fiscal year budget allocates approximately $1.8 million for the construction. Staff is recommending the village board accept the bid proposal and award the contract to Austin Tyler Construction in the amount of $1,594,479.66 and authorize execution of the contract consistent with the bid documents. Any questions?
Is this higher or lower from last year?
It's a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Little higher.
It's a little higher.
Yeah.
Last year's was just under $1 million.
Okay.
It's actually considerably higher.
Yes.
Okay. That's your question. If there are no questions for,
I'll make the motion for the approval of a bid award to Austin Tyler Construction for the village's 2025 MFT resurfacing project in the amount of $1,594,479.66 and authorize execution of the contract consistent with the bid documents.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Clerk?
Carol,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to business item number 2. Consideration for approval of a resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code to authorize the appropriation of funds in the amount of $900,000 for the village's 2025 MFT resurfacing project. Mr. Noriega.
Thank you again. So for our annual resurfacing projects, we utilize 2 major funds, our capital funds and MFT funds. As required under the Illinois Highway Code, the village board must approve through a resolution authorize the MFT expenditures. So staff is recommending approval of the resolution in the amount of $900,000 to authorize the appropriation of MFT funds for our 2025 MFT resurfacing contract. Any questions?
Motion approved as read.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion's been made. Clerk?
Chapman,
Yeah.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
And Carol.
Yes.
Agenda item number 2 has been approved. Moving on to number 3. Consideration for approval of a proposal for professional engineering services with Seco Consultants for material testing services for the village's 2025 MFT resurfacing project in the amount not to exceed $22,732. Mr. Noriega.
Thank you again. So again, for our annual resurfacing project, we are required to perform material testing for quality assurances. Yearly, we utilize the services of professional engineering services from Seco Consultants. We are recommending approval of the professional engineering services with Seco Consultants for material testing in the amount not to exceed $22,732 for our MFT project. Any questions?
If there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval of the proposal for professional engineering services with Seco Consultants for material testing services for the village's 2025 MFT resurfacing project in the amount not to exceed $22,732.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk?
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3 has been approved. Moving on to number 4. Consideration for approval of a resolution establishing a sewer oversizing fee for certain properties upon annexation. Ms. Engel and Mr. Silver.
Thank you. Last meeting, the village board approved the annexation agreement for Auburn Chase. The agreement called for Lennar to oversize their sanitary sewer extension to accommodate approximately 284 acres of future single-family residential growth. In exchange, the village reduced the sanitary sewer tap-on fees by a total of $365,000, which is the amount of the oversizing costs. The draft resolution on this evening's agenda proposes to pass on this $365,000 to the developers of the benefiting properties. It calls for them to pay their share on a per-acre basis at the time of development. The per-acre fee is currently $1,285.25, but it will be adjusted according to the Consumer Price Index to better reflect the value of the money at the time that they develop.
Are there any questions? I know this has been talked about a lot recently, so.
I think the one thing, it says this is, the 365 is the oversizing cost, but to be more specific, it's the oversizing cost allocated to their properties, right? Because the oversizing that's handling Lennar, like Lennar's covering their costs, right?
Lennar's covering their
So this
costs.
is just what benefits those extra properties.
Correct.
Maybe I'm wording it differently, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain the motion to approve.
I'll make a motion for the approval of a resolution establishing a sewer oversizing fee for certain properties upon annexation.
Second?
Okay, we have the motion and a second. Clerk?
Selfridge,
Yes.
Amos.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Luciano.
Yes.
Agenda item number 4 stands approved. Moving on to our final agenda item. Consideration for approval of an ordinance directing and authorizing the disposal of surplus property by the village of Shorewood. This is up for a first read. Ms. McCloskey.
Good evening. We have a short list tonight of some surplus equipment disused. This is a couple of Panasonic Tough Books, an old server that we decommissioned last year, a couple monitors, and the old fuel system from Public Works.
Okay.
I've got no questions. Bill, is there a reason why this is a first read on this, or can it be passed tonight?
No reason it can't be passed tonight.
All right. I'll make the motion to approve an ordinance directing and authorize disposal of surplus property by the village of Shorewood and waive the second read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Clerk?
Amos.
Yes?
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
And Selfridge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5 carried. Moving on to trustee reports. Anything to say, Mr. Amos?
Thank you, Mayor, or thank you, trustee. None tonight.
Not tonight. Mr. Brockman?
Thank you. Next meeting will be April 2nd, and Natalie has 3 agenda items. Presently, we have accessory solar and wind text amendment, Shorewood. How do you pronounce that, Natalie?
I pronounce it Esplanade. I'm not sure if it's right, but
Okay. Concept plan for that subdivision, and Briga Transport Incorporated concept plan. So April 2nd. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carroll?
No comment.
Okay. Myself, no comment. Mr. Luciano?
Citizens Advisory Committee will be meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. here at the Village Hall, 2nd floor meeting room. And if anyone's interested in getting involved in the committee, they can contact myself or any other members through the information on the village website. That's all I have.
Thank you. And trustee Selfridge?
No comment. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. That was good. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment?
So moved?
Second.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes,
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Amos.
Yes.
okay. We stand adjourned.